This is Susha Satendran. So in this tutorial we will see how to configure security for vacation management application. So in WaveMaker Studio you can see there is a security icon provided in the top right hand side of the WMO. So here once click, a security dialog will open. So to have your application in HTTPS, you can switch on the SSL, in which case 443 port will be enabled. So to provide authentication and authorization, you can click on authentication. First you can provide your security provider details. So by default there are various options coming under the security provider in WaveMaker. If yours is an LDAP, you can select LDAP and give the URL and other details. And you can see there is an option to give the test URL and the password and test the connection as well. Similarly, in Active Directory case, you can give the URL and other details and test the connections here as well. In case of centralized authentication, you can give the server along with login, logout and other details. And in case of SAML, where you are providing the XML, you can give those details as well. If it is auth and OpenID, in that case you can give the authorization URL, token URL along with client secret, etc. If none of these providers are applicable in your WaveMaker, gives you a provision to create a custom security for your application. So in our case we are using database. We can give which is our database, we can select it here, and the table where our username and password is there. So in our case it is employee table. I can mention which is our employee ID as user ID, and username is username and password is password. By default our role configuration, I have keeping it as basic and I am selecting which was our role as role. This is the security provider I am giving. Save. For login config, there is a session timeout, and also you can mention which is your login page. By default, WaveMaker is providing you a login page, but if you have any other custom login page, you can mention it over here. You can also mention when session is timed out, whether you prefer it as a dialog or a page for your login. Here by default CSRF is on. Now we goes to the authorization part. So initially we can add what all are the roles. You can give any number of roles. By default WaveMaker gives you admin and user. So you can mention which is the landing page for your admin. In our case pending approval is the landing page for admin, and for normal user it will be the apply vacation. Now I will go to the pages. So you can see all the pages which you have created will be present here. By default common as well as login page will be available for everyone, whereas remaining pages are kept as authenticated. That means all the pages which are kept as authenticated, any user who has logged in successfully can access those pages. But in our case dashboard as well as pending approval should be accessed only by the admin. So for dashboard I am mentioning admin, so that only the admin people will be allowed to access this page. Similarly for pending approval also I am making it as admin. Here in services, if you have created any Java services, that will be populated. Since I don't have any Java services, only database service is there. So for data we can configure. So by default it is authenticated, so not changing that. So if you have any prefabs developed for your application, that will be listed out here and you can configure the security based on that. So this is the security part. So I have saved it. This is how we will configure the security for our vacation management application. Thank you.